Hey village, it's your girl Narise, and I'm back with a live stream. Hey, we back. So, as you can see from the title, there was a few things that I wanted to talk about, and specifically around having a good time, right? I know y'all be on here or watching through the Truman Show, if my life were anything like it, looking for a rant, looking for a think piece, looking for the rage, the clickbaits. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, fine. And and like I'm at a point where it's like y'all know I be making sense when I go through my points and have my think pieces and my rants and all these things. It's not like it's for no reason. And a lot of the things that I break down makes logical sense. But y'all know this, but y'all don't care because y'all really just try to pull the emotions out of me for your own profit and gain. Which I rebuke. Which I rebuke in the name of Jesus. Okay. But I just really wanted to speak to having a good time because I feel like us as a people, not even just me and my own personal life, but I just feel like in general, like everything is just we're in a climate, especially with like the election and just what may be going on in our own communities and personal lives, where it's easy to just be combative and wanting to fight one another and wanting to rage against the system. And at times that battle is necessary. But I wanted to say, like, I've noticed some content online that's really like pushing for like just having a good time and having fun and laughing and stuff like that. And specifically with Cenat's Mafiathon, I don't know if he's ever going to see this, but I just want to say, like, specifically to Kai, what you're doing is so important. And it's beautiful to see, like, just like guys having fun with their friends and just being positive, like being popular. Like, yeah, sure, like they do wild and crazy stuff and they have fun and they're silly and all those things, but you can tell he's really like a good person. And the way that he looks out for his people, he looks out for his friends, and just not even just him, but just people in general. Like, I saw this clip of him online with him getting pizza, and like there was kids at a pizza shop that recognized him, and he took pictures with them, and and he was just like, he told the family, like, don't worry about it, I'll pay for the bill. And it's shit like that we need to see more of, and it's as much as people want to hate on me, like if I had somebody, that's the type of shit I would do. But even when I don't have money, like I've done those things. And it's so easy to be consumed by the negative and wanting to say, like, oh, this person's awful, they're problematic, this and that. But it's like, can we make just being a good person cool? Can we make just being positive and having fun popular? And I love that that's what Kai is doing. And I've seen a lot of people, like a range of people, different age groups, different backgrounds, just like tuning into Mafiathon. And I've seen clips of it as it was going on, but I didn't know like what it was. Like, I didn't know it was this whole thing, like Mafiathon, like he was live streaming for like a whole month. And when I've seen clips of it, and I love his content. Like, I think it's funny, especially with him and Kevin Hart and Drewski when they get together, him and his crew, like him and Ray. And like, it's a beautiful thing to see him and his friends just get together and have fun. And then when they have celebrities come through, when he had NPC Miles, and just like his whole thought process of even including him in the process of like he saw people trying to clown him and he was struggling online. So he was like, you know what? Let me use my platform as a means to put him on, because I don't like that people making fun of him. So let me do something like, and it might be silly to people. Some people might be clowning him, but you know what? That put him in position to be in front of millions of people. And not only that, but he ended up meeting the actual Spider-Man, you know, um, Shamik Moore. I think I'm saying his name right. And he's in a ton of movies. Like, he's really dope actor. But just like to have him a part of that and have like, and who knows what could come of that? Like, it could be an opportunity for him to potentially be in an actual Superman. I don't know, like video game, movie, something. I don't know. But that's dope. That's dope that he does that with his platform. And even his interview with Nardwar, I thought was really dope, and him giving him his flowers and just letting him know, like, you know, I don't like when people be like egging you, and when they can't give you a few seconds after the concert to you know, to talk to you, or they try to talk down on you like you're not that guy, you know, and while you're here, I want to give you your flowers. Like, I respect that so much. And you know, as much as people want to like latch onto the negative things, that's really what I be doing a lot of the time. It's like, even if I don't like somebody for whatever reason, I will always give credit where credit is due and still give people their flowers, because it's a way to compartmentalize. And even if I don't got a problem with people and I'm just like, yo, you ate that fit. Like, yes, that this song is popping. Like, you know, just like giving people their props where it's due, you know? And it's so easy to just be boggled down by all the negativity and bringing up this and bringing up that. And, you know, I love to see that he's using his platform to make positivity popular. Like, that's mainstream. It's cool to see people just see someone just have a good heart. Like him live streaming during his drummer's wedding and treating them to their honeymoon, buying him a new drum set, you know, because Drewski, I guess, fucked up his other one. I didn't see that clip, but apparently that's what happened. But him just like buying him a new drum set, like, that's beautiful. Like, that's dope. That's so dope to see. Like, I love that. I love that for the timeline. I love that for content. I love that he's popular for that, you know, and he's worked really hard to get to where he's at. And I love that success for him, you know, and I love that he's able to put his friends on too, you know, and it's not just like, oh, I'm the guy and I gotta be the guy. Like, all his I'm pretty sure his friends have other like platforms and stuff too, because I've seen some of their videos. I think his friend Talil, I've seen some of his videos and I didn't know that they were friends until like later on. So I was like, oh, okay, this is dope that they do that, you know, and they all have their own like brands and movements going on. But then when they come together, like, you can see it's like it's genuine friendship. They're all genuinely happy for each other. You know, they crack jokes and have fun and stuff like that, because that's what kids do. Like, you know, you're supposed to be able to joke about stuff and it's not too serious or whatever the case may be. But, you know, they have their motivational moments where they got the what's his name? The guitar guy. Um the mangoes guy who plays the guitar, you know, over the motivational stuff. So he has like the motivational sounds or whatever. And when they have that in there, like, I just love that for them, you know, and they do it in a way where it's not corny. You know, I don't know. Sometimes I could be over motivational, but I mean, it's not enough motivation on this damn planet. Okay. Some of y'all need it. But, you know, it's just dope to see. It's dope to see the positivity. And it's so easy to be like consumed by the negative and, ooh, you know, I hope so and so is chest hurting over this event. You know, like, all of that shit is corny. It's so corny to me, because it's like people are so engulfed and consumed by negativity that's unjustified or unwarranted. But when you try to put positivity out there, you're corny. When you try to put positivity out there, and it's like, oh, we don't want to hear this. Why not? Why not? Why don't y'all like the positive? Why don't y'all like to see people uplifting one another? Why don't y'all like to see people giving each other like people's flowers? That's necessary. You know, it's what's needed in this space, especially when so much of these conglomerates and these corporations intentionally put out negativity through the content, through music, through reality TV, intentionally wanting us to be baited into feeling rage and emotions. Not just me, but y'all. Like, the same way that people try to play with me, y'all get played the same way too. You know, but y'all just think y'all are in on it, so it's not happening to you. But it's happening to all of us, you know, and we're all being consumed by this negativity. We're all having our subconscious minds affected by this and being moved and manipulated into feeling certain ways to be at odds with one another, rather than, you know, feeling love or feel like having laughter or feeling joy and emotions. Like, you know, it's just so much. It's so easy to be combative. But I say that to say, like, I just love the fact that Kai is doing positive. Like, you can tell he's really a good person. His mom raised him right. God bless him. God bless everything that he got going on in his family. The fact that he was able, like, he only been live streaming for a few years. And the fact that he, off a live stream, was able to buy a house for his family and make sure his family is good and his siblings and his mom is good. Like, how could you hate on that? You know, and speaking of, like, I ain't like that prank that dude did on him. I ain't like that shit at all. You know, like, the fuck is you hating on him for? You know, because like Kai don't bother nobody. He mind his business. He just be having fun with his friends. You know, like, you know, they crack jokes, they do pranks, they be having celebrities there, they do their dances, they have a good time. They have a good time. And it's like, how could you hate on that? You can't hate on that. You know, and he's a good person. You can tell, like, he's positive. He puts positivity out in his content, you know, and he puts on for him and his friends. You know, it's not like he eat alone. He makes sure like him and the people around him have an opportunity to thrive. And I respect that so much. And I love that. And I don't know, Kai, if you see this, keep doing your thing. You know, what you're doing is so important. It's beautiful to see. You're inspirational. And it's not even just like kids watching him. Like, there's people like millennials, people older than him, like grown adults that I've seen tuned into Mafiathon and really was like invested in what he was doing, what he had going on, and just love to see him do what he does. Like your reach is like beyond generations. You know, it's young kids, it's kids your age, it's older folks, and it's really reminding people, like, yeah, like it just reminds you of like the times where you would hang out with your friends and you ain't have to think about bills and shit like that. And y'all was just goofy, just hanging out, doing your thing, like, you know, making fun of each other, but then also having moments of heart to hearts, like having sleepovers and stuff like that. Just like regular shit, just regular times that you've had fun with the people that you love. And I don't think we see that enough. And I think it was a beautiful thing. And it's dope to see like older folks tune in and not even knowing anything about streaming, not even knowing about like Twitch and all that shit. And it's just like, what's going on here? Like, you know, and just really being invested, you know, and all the shenanigans that he got going on with him and his friends. Like, it's just so dope to see. And, you know, it's just so dope to see. And I love that for him. And I really hope that, you know, if he hears this message in any way, like, keep doing your thing, man. Like, much love, much success to you. You know, may you keep thriving and may you be divinely protected, and, you know, no pranks and no ill will can, you know, stand upon you. You're great. Keep doing your thing, keep putting not only yourself on but the people around you on. Keep being positive, and don't let like, because when you have those success and opportunities come to you, there's going to be situations and circumstances that try you, that will make you, there might be opportunities that present themselves in a way that way may have you try to compromise your morals. Just stay rooted in faith, and you can tell like he's a child of faith. Like, he prays, he don't play about Jesus, his mom don't play about that. And like, just stay grounded in your faith and prayer, and don't let, and the thing is, it's a beautiful thing that he was able to build this on his own. So it's not like he needs those other opportunities to like make it, or he needs to be on somebody else's platform. Like, he has his own thing. But if you do have other opportunities, don't let anything compromise your morals. Like, don't let nothing make you stoop down to, you know, doing all this weird, you know, shit that you don't have to do. Like, just stand on what you've been doing, do the thing that got you where you're at, and just only collaborate or be a part of things that feel good to you, that doesn't make you question it. Like, you know, when you felt like you ain't want to do that prank and you was like, nah, I don't feel good about this dude, that's not even what he told us that we were going to do. You were right for trusting your instincts like that, and your discernment was on point. Trust that, and know that there are going to be other times where people might try to try you and get you to do shit that you don't want to do. Don't listen to that. Like, just do what feels good to you. Keep being positive, keep letting your light shine in this world, and know that you're doing beautiful things out here, and you're inspirational to a multitude of generations, not even just the next generation of kids coming up, but people older than you, looking at what you're doing and are seeing that you're putting good vibes out into the universe. And it's inspiring. It's inspiring a lot of people, and just keep doing your thing. Much love and blessings to you. And I look forward to see whatever else you got going on with you and your peeps. And, just keep doing your thing. That was the one thing about Cenat that I wanted to say. And then also Speedy's interview with The Rock. So that inspired this whole like idea for this particular live stream, was that so he was interviewing Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and he asked him, he was like, yo, do you have fun? And I'm glad that he asked him this, because I'll be wondering the same thing. Because a lot of times, all you like when you see him being interviewed or like videos of him, a lot of times he's just like so driven and ambitious, and he's so like focused on the goal and the mission at hand. And and I love that he asked him that. And he was like, are you having any fun? Because when I look on your content, I see you're working and this and that, but it don't look like you'll be having fun. And he's like, you know what, you're right. And it just, as something as simple as him asking that question really had The Rock reflecting on that. And he said he talked to his family about it, and he really took some time to. And I think he said he was just like, there was a post that he did online where he was just chilling in his backyard, just like enjoying the sunlight, and just really taking a time to relax and enjoy the fruits of his labor. Because I mean, I've grown up seeing The Rock like go through so many different transitions in his career, from wrestling to acting, and just and beyond. And I'm sure like he has businesses and stuff like that. And you could tell like he's a very ambitious guy, and he's focused, and he works hard, and he's been grinding for years. For years. And it's like, all right, bro, like sit your ass down and have a good time for like 5 minutes at least, and it's dope to see, because he deserves it. Like he's been putting in his work for a long time. You can tell he's a positive person, and he's very driven and ambitious. But every now and then you just need that time to just like really enjoy life. And those things that I saw on social media really inspired this live stream, just because like I could get on here and rant and rave about drama stuff, but like who cares about that shit? Like that shit is so not important, especially if it's a part of a script that y'all already know like years in advance. Then like who gives a fuck about that? you know and I just really wanted to use my voice and use my platform, you know um as large or small as it may be, whatever, to just say like, you know let's have fun, like let's have a good time. I feel like we're just so inundated by like these like weird symbolisms and Illuminati ebonics, and trying to decipher all these fucking messages and shit. And going back through catalogs within the last 30 years and really determining like, damn, it's all this BS that's really hidden in the music and all these things. And it's like, let's just have a good time. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like, it's so easy to be wrapped up in the negativity, especially when it's manufactured and cooked up to be that way. And it's easy to be frustrated about those things, and it's not saying not to be, because there are certain revolutions and movements that require us to use our rage to make a difference, and to stand up to the powers that be and make a stance and tell the truth and say the things that are right and challenge the system to be a more positive space. However, in the midst of that fight, in the midst of the revolution, we can't always constantly be in that space of combativeness or negativity. Like, we need to make time as a people to just have fun and have a good time and really enjoy not only the fruits of our labor as a society, but just who we are as people. And I was just thinking about like just the things that I've been through for the last few years, and I just feel like I go back and forth between like trying to find the gratitude per usual. Like I always try to seek for gratitude. Is Angie right here? She is. Um, Grateful for Angie. Just trying to find the gratitude, but then also being frustrated, because I just feel like so much of the situations and the things that I've been through in my life was just like such a waste. And I'm just like, like I've been through this bullshit over a lie, over lies and fabrications. And bitch, you motherfuckers wasted my fucking time and really like try to like attack me as if you have a right or as if you're justified. And it pisses me off. But then at the same time, it's like I wouldn't be the resilient, strong woman that I am today. Like I wouldn't know the things that I know about the power that I have within myself. So it's like like at the same time it's not a complete waste, but like it just like at terms it's like it just pisses me off sometimes. And it's like the nerve and the audacity of people to keep trying me as if you have a right to. Like, but anyway, um but aside from that, I'm just like, okay, I could continue to harp on that, or I can use my voice, use my life, use my existence to say, fuck that. I'm just going to have a good time. I'm going to, be the person that I wish I had around me to nurture a sense of safety, a sense of like freedom of expression and creativity. And lately I've been doing that. I will say like pretty much since like the like Squabble Up video came out, which is a whole nother thing in itself, and I might get into that later. Um, I've just been like in this like wave of creativity. And I've really been enjoying it. And sometimes I'll live stream, like as you guys have been seeing, I've live streamed like my guitar practices lately, and vocal practice. Um and and then sometimes I don't, because I just want to just bask in the enjoyment of just singing. And even if it like, however that is. Um, and it doesn't have to be like for anybody else's entertainment, but it's really purely for the fact that I'm a singer and I love to sing and I care to be good at it. And, and I've grown and evolved as a vocalist, and I'm still growing and I'm still evolving and I'm still learning. And and it doesn't always have to be so much of a job. Like I have to practice, I have to do this, like just to practice, because like I really like to sing this song. I like the melodies in this song, and I can sing the notes and I really enjoy it. So I'm just going to, you know especially for the version of me, like my inner child that was always like hesitant about singing. I was always scared of being too loud. I was always scared of like, just just shining too bright, basically. And, now I'm just like, I mean, there's other things that I feel like kind of take up my focus, and that kind of like is a distraction. But I've made I'm better at making the time to do things that I enjoy. And it could be something as simple as like putting a look together. It could be something as simple as like working on a beat, or writing a song, and or singing and playing guitar. It could be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be so cerebral or symbolic, or I'm going to play this song at this time so it means this. Like, no, I'm just playing the song because I want to play the fucking song and I like it, and it's good, and I want to be better at it. And I know other people have their symbolisms and suggestions and shit like that, and it's like, okay, I peep that, but like fuck that. Like, I like to play the song. Like, I'm just really proud. For example, I'm just really proud that I can play a Hiatus Coyote song on guitar and sing at the same time. Okay. And even if I like, make little mess ups along the way, so fucking what? I don't care. I could do it. And I know the version of me from like 2015 would be very proud, because at that time I saw that as something that's just like inachievable. And just because like there's such complex musicians and just like the style of music and all these things, but now I've been practicing and I've been doing the work, and I can play a song from them, and I'm proud of myself, and I enjoy it, and I have a lot of fun playing the songs. And I know other people will like want to try to take some of the lyrics and make it a thing, and and try to use it against me, and it's like I don't give a fuck about that, and none of that works in my reality anyway. you know, I am purely having fun. I'm enjoying my creativity. I'm enjoying my freedom of expressing myself. And I hope in me doing that it can inspire other people. And that's really what the message with this live stream is about. Um, just like making time to have a good time. You know, I feel like there's so many things in life that we could look at, like if you're in school, like being stressed about a test and being stressed about homework and stuff like that. Or, you know, like if there's issues in your friendship or your friend group or whatever the case may be, or if you have a crush on this person, or if you're in a relationship and you're going through tough times, whatever, like, yeah, like we all live through those things. Or if you're an adult and you have bills, or you're like in between jobs, or you're working a job and you hate your fucking job, or like you hate your boss or whatever, and you're dealing with people who treat you like, less than you deserve, or you're dealing with somebody that's like a bitch, like whatever, like, we all have our things that we're going through. And I just hope that in this live stream I can implore you all to make the time, carve out time in your schedule to have a good time, to laugh, to smile, to, do something kind for somebody, because I mean, that's something that makes me feel good. Like if anything else, like, I enjoy giving back. I enjoy, I want to do that more, but I'm in a space where I'm really just trying to like intentionally focus on myself, because I have to get my own things together. As much as I want to give back, and I love to do it, that's something that feels good to me. And if that's something that feels good to you, then I suggest you do that, especially because it's the holiday season and there's probably people who could use a kind gesture, who could use some help and assistance in however um it can, show up in their life. And if you could be that blessing for somebody, just by, just something simple as like, just buying like an extra, lunch for somebody or whatever. I just want to put out a message of just us being more helpful, more loving, more positive, more supportive of one another, because we need it in this world. It's so easy to not be that and find reasons like, oh, this person fucked me over, so fuck them, and that's another point that I actually wanted to mention too. And it's like, I want to say this in a way where I'm being truthful and forthright, but not inconsiderate. So, like, for example, in my own personal life, I know that I've like reached out to some folks who I once had relationships with, and then like for whatever reason we drifted apart, and that's a whole thing in itself. In my life, we're like the Truman Show, you already know. And I've just kept my distance just for reasons like, just feelings of betrayal, feelings of, dishonesty, whatever. And then, just like this year, I've just kind of like reached out in small ways, for like certain people's birthdays and stuff like that. And, and it's not like I'm doing that in a way to like, oh, let's be best friends again. Like, I'm pretty sure that ship has sailed. And even if there's some people that's like, you know, second guessing their reasons for wanting to, um, you know, I don't know, maybe there might be some people that might second guess their perspectives of me based on like certain truths that's been revealed as of late. I don't know. But and that's fine. But for me, I just want to be in a space where like I'm not beefing with anybody. People could beef with me, but I'm not beefing with nobody, and I know like I've had many a rant on these live streams, and and I've said things that might make people feel away, and I still stand on those things. And what I mean by that is like, chances are if I've said something or ranted about something, it was for a reason. And I felt that way at that time, and it's not like I don't like, I don't wanna be in that space of, like, being upset at people. Now, the reason why I'm upset, I still stand on that, and I feel like I had valid reasons to feel the way that I felt, and and I stand on that. But I don't wanna be in a space where I'm, like, constantly upset about people, with situations that I can't change or that they can't change. You know what I mean? Or for apologies that people haven't given me that I feel I deserve, and even though I've given many a apology and it just seems like it's not enough, or whatever the case may be. Like, I still stand on the things that I was upset about, and I feel like I had valid reason to be upset at certain people. Especially when, there was love, especially when it's people that I've like grown up with or people that are related to or whatever the case may be. And I just felt like things could have been handled with a transparent and an honest conversation, and it just wasn't. And I felt like people switched up on me, and I had no explanation as to why. Then, upon realizing why, and I'm just like, that's not true, or like that's just not, that situation isn't what you're trying to make it out to be. And if we could talk about it, then we could have cleared that up. And especially with people that I like had profound love for, like, as like people that I consider like friends and like family to me. So like, yeah, I feel away, like, yes, I felt away, and yes, I've been upset about those things. And especially in ways where like people can say all these things about you, and then you, upon realizing like, oh, motherfucker's been talking about me for a long time. Okay, people been referencing these moments for a long time. And I'm just supposed to like be chill about it. Like, no, I'm a human being. I have emotions. And I know people know that, and people try to play off my emotions. But like, I have emotions because I care, and because I have love. And I have shown time and time again that I've been willing to do the work to fix those things. And so with that said, I'm in a space now where it's like I still want to do the work to fix those things for me. Um More for me than for those people, cuz I know like you can't please people. And even if you do, you shouldn't do it for that. Like, you can go above and beyond and still never satisfy, other people's feelings about you. But as long as you do the right thing and you know you did everything that you could, and you're proud of yourself, then that's all you can do. And I'm really in that space in my life where, I'm cool with like putting out kind gestures, like, checking in from time to time, because it's like, it's not like I'm the type of person where it's like, if something were to happen to, these people, that I wouldn't care. Like, it's not like I would wish like ill will or like unalivement on people. Like, no. Even despite how ugly things have been, like, I wouldn't wish that on someone, even though I know that there's been instances and circumstances where people may have played the opposite of that. But I just refuse to be in that space. um and because I care, and that's really the only reason why I would even like want to like check in beyond like a happy birthday or happy holidays type of thing. Like, if I have like any inclining or like sign that, there's like a threat to somebody's health or something like that, then yeah, I care to check in, you know, regardless of how those people may feel about me. Just because like I've always, a lot of my anger and resentment comes from a space of really caring about people. Then yeah, I'm gonna check in and find like if I, like, oh, you fell for the joke, or you look like a fool trying to reach out to people who probably wouldn't do that for you, then so be it, fine. But that's because like I don't know how to be a person that's just so cold hearted that like I don't care. Like, that's why for years I've like repeatedly been in situations where like people have played me because I care. And it's not that, and it's tough. It's tough trying to find a space where you have your boundaries and you don't let people play in your face. But at the same time, you still want to be a person, a good person. And, God forbid if anything happens, you still want to like at least care to know that someone is doing okay, you know? And I feel like in my life, that's a really tough line to be on. It's tough. It's tough to care about people who might not necessarily care about you the way that you would care to show up for them. And and it's tough because like you straddle this line of being like trying to be a good person but then looking like, oh, like they played you, you look like a fool trying to show up for these people. And it's like, well, fuck it. I rather God know my heart and God know my intentions and know that I'm trying and that I even care to like check in on people, reach out, like send something for like a birthday or whatever the case may be. I rather, in the eyes of God, know that I'm making God proud rather than trying to appease you people. Because y'all people don't even know what y'all want. Y'all don't even know what morals y'all stand on. Y'all don't even know what you value or the things that you think you value. It changes. Y'all constantly move the goalpost. So like, I don't really care to appease the perception or the view of y'all. Like I just know as long as God knows my heart, God knows that I mean well, God knows that I'm trying, that I care to do the right thing, I care to make sure people are okay, because like regardless of how things have happened through the years or how things have fallen out or how real or fake certain scenarios were, like to a degree, like certain people were in my life and it was real for me. So that part of that relationship that felt real for me, I'm going to check in just for the sake of like knowing that you're alive, you're breathing, and you're in good health. And that's all I need to know. Like, I don't need to be friends. We don't need to hang out. We don't need to like hug and kiss and all this stuff. Like, just as long as I know you're breathing, you're in good health, all is well with you and your loved ones, that's all I care about. That's all I need to know. And from there, like, I keep my distance and I like, I live my life and do my thing. And that's just pretty much where I'm at with certain situations in my life. And I understand that certain people could like feel a way about me because it's like, oh, I still remember what you guys said. And yeah, I said what I said. And I still stand on those things that I've said. But, because I feel like I said, I've had legitimate reasons to be upset and to say the things that I said. And I think it's only fair, especially like just imagine like being in a space where everybody and their mama could speak on you, talk about your life, talk about your actions, say all the things about you, but you can't say anything to defend yourself or you can't tell your side of the story. Like, that's just not fair. And like, let's keep it a buck. It's just not. And so I think it's only fair that I have a right to speak my truth. And if it makes people feel a way, well, I felt a way when everybody and their mama was saying shit about me. So I guess we're even. Not even. Not even, because I feel like in me speaking my truth, I really be trying to give people grace. But anyway, that's beside the point. My point in saying that is if people feel a way about me, they can feel a way about me. That they're entitled to that. Okay. But today I'm in a space where like I just want to feel good in life. I just want to have a good time. And I just want to do the right thing and just be a person that God could be proud of. And despite all the things that I've been through, all the scenarios, all the circumstances, all the things that people say about me, all the things that people try to put on me, and just knowing that every day I show up and I do my best to do things to not only stand up for myself, to be a good person, and to, in hopes, make God proud. That's all I care about, you know, because it's like you will go crazy trying to please humans, who probably don't even know how to please themselves. So like I'm not concerned about that. um so yeah, that's I that was the last point that I wanted to say in regards to my own personal life, because I live in a reality. I choose to live in a reality where you know the Joe Button podcast and Rory and Maul can work out their differences. And, and they might not necessarily have to be friends, but they could do the same thing, and they could just check in, make sure everybody breathing, everybody alive and thriving and doing their things, and they're all great. And I know that that might have been written in the Truman Show script a few months ago. Well, I guess they're right. I guess the Illuminati is a little correct on that. And I live in a reality where they're fans of my music and they buy and support. I kid, I joke. But really, um, but truly, I really don't want to be in a space where I'm like combative with people or like constantly beefing. I don't got beef with nobody. If you got beef with me, you beefing with yourself. Um, which is really true on a spiritual level because I say, like, anything that you try to do to attack me, to curse me, to jinx me, to hold me back is already done unto you 30-fold. And I'm just praying for your recovery when it hits. Okay? Because I don't care to attack people. I will defend myself and I will speak up for myself and I will fight back. And to some circumstances where it might appear like, oh, you just let that slide. Oh, no, nothing is sliding. Time. But anyway, um, you know, like there's also a balance with that too. Like I'm not a pushover and I'm not just gonna let you, do whatever. But at the same time, like I'm not gonna constantly be fighting with people and beefing and going at it, like like I mean it's hilarious to like, in the alternate reality be beefing with billionaires. But bitch, I need to get my billion. I don't have a time to be sitting up here beefing with billionaires and if I'm not a billionaire. And I should be, quite frankly. So yeah, nah, I don't want to sit up here and like beef with networks and people and folks that misinterpret their perceptions of me based on a fallacy, you know, which brings me to another point. Um, I have been watching a lot of like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan recently. And I'm not Muslim. I don't practice Islam, but I have respect for it. And I honestly I'm still learning. I really don't know much about it. But one thing that I really appreciate about Minister Louis Farrakhan is that he often speaks to the Bible. And although he is um Islam or Islamic, I think that's the right way to say that. He speaks to the Bible a lot. And and I think it's awesome that he could speak to people who are Muslim and also people who are Christian. And you know, and I think, I mean, like he's in his 90s at this point right now, and I think he's led a beautiful legacy. And it frustrates me when certain things that he stands for and says and represents and his image is used or misconstrued in a negative way, like Facebook censoring him and just trying to take the things that he stands for and make it negative. I don't like that. And it's unfortunate that certain people have built empires off that. But there's this video that I really hope you all can check out. Um, it's on YouTube and it's called The Untold Story of the Million Man March, for those who are unfamiliar. But if my life were anything like the Truman Show, you should already know. Um, the Million Man March was something that he facilitated October 16, 1995. And it was in DC. And he wanted to gather a million Black men from all over and relay a message to inspire and uplift and correct and heal the Black community. And years later, there was a female version of that in Philadelphia in 1997. And it really bothers me that people would try to take that those missions, those intentions, that movements, and try to make it into something negative, knowing that it's something to build and empower our community as Black folks. So there's a video on YouTube called The Untold Story of the Million Man March, where Louis Farrakhan details how he was able to build that. And in specific circumstances, how people were able to somehow take that event and try to make it into something negative. He really like breaks it down from the beginning, the conception of that plan and orchestration of putting that event together. And and I've watched it several times, mainly because like each time I watch it I learn something new. And I think it's important. And I can tell like it's been his life's mission to really empower and uplift and educate our community and our people, and to really see the power within ourselves and tell the truth about our power, and to wake us up from the lies and the orchestrated attempts to keep us down as a community, and the orchestrated attempts to systemically hold us back as a people. And it usually starts with attacking and demonizing and discrediting our leaders. So please do watch that. I'll probably put it in the comment section or link it or something like that. Um, but yeah, it's an important conversation to have, just like the how it all came to be from the very beginning, and how it was planned, and um, you know, and how things transpired to how the world is today. And it's very interesting. It's very interesting. I'm just thinking about just like how this all have come to be. Um, Within our communities, and just how it's affected the arts, and how it's affected, it's really like amazing. And sometimes in a positive way, sometimes not, just to see how things have like transpired through the years, and to see where we are, to know that like there has been an awakening spiritually of our people, and us seeing the power that we have with ourselves, but how we're using it. Like we're a powerful people, but we use that power to attack and disempower one another. And that's the thing that bothers me personally. And I mean, I might be biased to that, but as someone, again, that genuinely cares of not only um, about, the situations in my personal life, but just really someone who cares about the community, and someone who really cares about the advancement and the success and the thriving and the upliftment of Black people. Like, I really just want better for us. And I can only try to use my voice, try to use my music, try to use my life as a means to really push that narrative and that truth. So I hope you all can truly hear me when I say that. So that's it for this live stream. I also was gonna do a breakdown of Kendrick's album. I was thinking about it. All right. So I'll be transparent here and say I was thinking about doing a live reaction, right? But I was like, nah, because I don't know if there's some strays in here, and and I'm like, I don't know. Let me listen to it first, and then I'm gonna think about it, type of thing. Because I was looking at this cover, like, what you trying to say, Kendrick? Like, Mr. Lamar, like, but you know what? Regardless of what he's trying to say, let's just. All right, actually, I'm gonna save it for another video. I'm gonna really like lay it all out, lay out my thoughts and everything. But I'll just say this here. I was thinking about doing a live reaction, but then I was just like, I don't know. Let me think about it. Let me listen to the album first. Let me see what he talking about. Let me see if the song is really hitting, like how out, And then I'm like, you know what? This album is now Kendrick, Kenny, Kung Fu Kenny. Now you ain't have to eat that album up the way that you did. Like, he's like, just in case anybody was really questioning if it was Big Me, bitch, ain't nobody else. Like, you gotta give him his tens. Like, you gotta give him his tens, because he really, like, I'm gonna get into the nitty gritties of as purely as a listener, just observing what he's doing as an artist, not Truman Show, Easter eggs, and all that. Like, I'll get into that. I will get into that, or at least my perspective or how I'm interpreting things. I could be wrong. I don't know. With this fucking Illuminati hieroglyphics language that we all speaking, there's a lot of things that could be lost in translation. And I'm like, I could be bopping to something and be catching strings. I don't know. But you know what? The songs are good. The songs are good. The songs are good. And I'm not going to act like they not. Like, again, like, I give credit where credit is due. And Kendrick is really doing his thing. But yeah, so I wanted to listen to the project first and then get into it and like do like I guess a review about it or whatever the case may be. But like, I will say, like, Kendrick as an artist, like, he's really doing his thing. And like, it's his moment. It's his time. Like, I mean, it's been his moment. Like, he's had moments to build up to where he is right now. Like, he's been in the game for a minute. He's been putting out projects. Like, he already has solidified like classic albums. And like, even the people who want to argue about like To Pimp a Butterfly, like, we're not going to act like that album is trash. Like, it might not be as many like bangers or like upbeat bops like this new album is, but there is cultural significance to his work. There is lyrical substance to that album, and that's the thing with Kendrick that I can really appreciate, which is I'm just gonna leave it at that, because I wanted to get more into this in a different video. But the one thing, like, you can't debate about when it comes to Kendrick is his richness and culture, and just the value of his artistry. Even if you don't like it, even if it's not your cup of tea, you can't say it's whack. You can't say that he doesn't put good art out. You can't say it's corny. Like you just can't do that. You can say, all right, I didn't really care for that song. I didn't really like it like that. But you can't say that he's not a quality artist. And that's something that, regardless of anything, I'll always respect. Like, even with Not Like Us, I mean, it's about It's a bop. Like it's a bop. It's really a bop. Like, and I'm not going to sit up here and act like it's not a bop. You know, even though I do feel like on a Truman Show level, um, there's an energy shift on, you know, Watch the Party Die, and that led into this album. And you can tell, like, with this album, there was like new stuff with him even talking about like the mural, and him talking about the Super Bowl. Like that just happened. Like that just happened a few months ago, you know, and him making those references on the album let you know like there's a current shift on that project. But I'll save my detailed think piece for my next live stream. But yeah, I'm gonna get into it. Okay, we're gonna get into the album, and I'm thinking like, should I do like a Truman Show breakdown of like what I'm thinking? I don't know. I could be wrong. And mind you, I could totally be wrong. I could totally be misinterpreting whatever he's like putting down. You know, whatever. Um, because I understand to some degree. Like I don't know, like part of me like wants to like not be wrong. You know, I don't want to like put something out there and be like, "Oh, girl, you read that completely wrong, bitch. You thought," you know, type of thing. But at the same time, it's like that's been going on for years now. At this point, like I've been listening to albums, like just bopping along, like, "Oh, yes, this is my jam," and then like realize, like, "Oh, girl, it is your jam. It's your space jam." And I'm like, "Wait, hold on," you know. And like, there's so many moments like that, and like but at this point I'm unfazed by it because it's like it's gone on so often, and I'm just like, whatever, okay. Like I'm used to being disappointed by people that I respect and admire, so it is what it is. And you know, and it could just be like, okay, I just interpreted that wrong, you know. Whatever, you know. I mean, that's the thing about art is up for interpretation. Sometimes, you know, how you view it is just how you view it. like like even like for instance with like the Squabble Up video, I'm looking at it from a lens based on my reality and the things that I've been living through in my life every day. And, you know, but at the same time, I know there's people from LA who look at that video with a completely different lens because they look at it as like, oh, this he's representing, you know, he's representing LA culture here. You know, oh, this is that, you know, oh, this is a reference to that time around the block over here when you go down the boulevard over here. You know, so there's people who look at the project with different lenses. And 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 there's different symbolisms like, and again, one of the reasons why Kendrick is such an amazing artist. Like even if it's like again, like even if there's like strays in there, it's like, okay, I like, but you have to respect the artistry. You have to respect the creativity, the artistry, like just how well thought out he is and how meticulous he is about the details. And I respect that. I respect that so much as a creative. And it's like you can't debate that. Like you just can't debate how like much of a mastermind he is. You know, like he's extremely intelligent, and not only intelligent but talented, you know. And it's like you can hate but you can't though. Like you can hate but you can't. You know, like you just got to take that shit, you know? Like and speaking of, but I'm going to say this from, you know, talking about Drake. And I'm not going to talk about Drake like how everybody else is talking about Drake. You know, everybody else is like shitting on Drake cuz it's popular to do that. And I could jump on that train. I could. But I don't like that train. I don't like that whole like shitting on somebody while they're down type of thing. You know, it's one thing to tell the truth and it's one thing to express your frustrations about a situation, especially when it's personal or whatever. But, you know, I don't like that whole thing of like, oh, it's popular to shit on Drake, so we're gonna shit on Drake. But it's like y'all the same people that was like that got him to where he is. Like, and yeah, sure, there might be some payola in there. There might be some bots. There is that argument of like, oh, if you're complaining about bots with Drake, with Kendrick, then let's talk about the bots that's been helping you. Okay, that might be in there, but let's not act like there's not Drake songs we don't know word for word. You know what I mean? So like, I don't like that whole thing of like shitting on Drake. But what I will say is like, look, Drake, as somebody that knows what it feels like to be shitted on for years and still look this good, I'm just saying. Drake, you just gotta lay low, man. You just gotta lay low. You just gotta lay low and let this season just, roll on by the river and just chill in your mansion because at least you have one. At least you're living in a home that you own, that you can afford, and your bills are paid. You don't have to worry about your dryer not working. You don't have to worry about that shit. And if your dryer isn't working, you can easily afford somebody to fix that. You don't have to worry about people fucking with your shit in your house. I mean, maybe, I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, just know, like, even in the midst of this moment, like, you have many blessings. And it might be shitty because like everybody's shitting on you right now, and like, everybody turned on you and all your friends betrayed you all at one time. Yeah, that shit is crazy to go through. It's tough, but you can still feed yourself. You have a roof over your head. I'm positive that your lights are on. I'm sure that you have a car and you can get to A to B. I'm sure that you have friends and family that love you, that are there for you regardless. I'm sure that you have a support system in your life that you can trust. People that aren't trying to stab you in the back, or people that aren't trying to bring up shit from years ago and throw it in your face, or whatever the case may be. I'm sure that you have a lot of blessings in your life that you might not be thinking too much about right now because of the climate of how people are talking about you in a public space, especially when you're used to being the man. You're used to being the number one guy. You're used to being the hit maker. And then now everybody's like turning on you and everybody's saying, oh, you corny, you this, like, oh, he's suing, that's so whack. Like, yeah, you are making some L's out here. Yeah, like the moves are crazy. But if you just like turn all of that shit off and really just look at the blessings that you have in your life right now in real time, like your son, like friends that you got around you, God willing, they're true and genuine friends, your mom, your dad, like you have blessings around you. It's a tough season. Yeah. Like when it comes to the whole battle and everything like that, like in hip hop, yes, that shit sucks. it sucks right now, but you're still blessed. You're going to be okay. Just like chill out. Like, just like lay low. Just lay low, work on your music. I think I will say that the whole like 30 gig thing that he did, I think that was dope. But I feel like it was too soon because it's like, oh, by the way, don't forget, like, I'm the one who made these hits that y'all be singing to for like the past 10 years. That was a great reminder, but I think it's too soon. Like, and mind you, I don't know shit about shit in this industry. I just know that I am the industry. But but I'm just saying, like, because again, I don't like you getting shitted on like this. Okay. And I have no reason to defend that man. It's not like you doing anything helping me out. You know, it ain't my loss. But I'm just saying, I don't like I don't like to see people being bullied. That's all. That's really what it boils down to. I don't like to see, people getting their back kicked in. But, I don't know, Drake, you might hear this. Maybe you might not. But I say this genuinely. I say this genuinely. It might be a tough season for you. And I know you can't openly admit that because you got to keep the tough persona. But it's okay. It's okay to feel the feels and, and be frustrated, especially in the space of like a lot of the industry friends, you know, switching up all at the same time. But at the same time, you have to be honest about yourself about the things that you might have done that caused that. It's not like motherfuckers just making shit up about you. Well, I mean, there might be people doing that. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let me mind my business. I don't know about the inner dramas, but I'm just saying the main point that I really, really, really want to say is that you're blessed. You have money in your account. You've created years of success. You have a catalog that people love. Even if there's some debatable albums, whatever, there are some albums that are undisputable that people just downright love. There are some bops that will come on and people will jam to. It's just not your season right now, but you can get through it. You just gotta lay low and just stay low for a second. Just stay low and let people miss you. And know that you have family. You have people in your life that love you for real. It's not like you were born into some situation where people just raised you to be a commodity. Like, no, I guarantee you have real people in your life that genuinely love you despite the fact that you're Drake. There's people that love Aubrey because they know Aubrey, and just like really stay in that frequency and remember that and know that and feel that, like, and feel like, okay, even though the world is saying all this about you, just like get off of TikTok and like just know like you're still blessed. Like you've created the success for yourself. Like you're like, don't you got like 100 million? Like you're a 100 millionaire or some shit like that. Like, not that everything is money, but despite the money, you have people in your life that care about you. Despite everybody who switched up on you, despite like, it's not like you don't got nobody, you know, is all I'm saying. And because we're here for a good time. We're here for a good time. Okay. That's all I'm saying, and I don't want to harp too much on the negativity, but I really hope he receives what I'm trying to say. I don't know, in my little platform with only 2 views, but I mean that genuinely. I really do mean that genuinely, because like it's popular to hate on Drake right now. And some people might have justified reason to do so, but I just don't like that whole like, okay, let's dog pile and shit on people. I just don't like that. And I get it, it's hip hop, it's battle, but I don't think I've ever seen a hip hop battle where the person who lost the battle was ever like shitting on this much. And people just say like, oh, it's hip hop, you just gotta take it. I'm like, okay, it's debatable that Jay-Z lost to Nas with Ether, right? I've never seen nobody shit on Jay-Z the way they be going in on Drake. Now, people might complain and joke about Jay-Z and, even with some of the like controversial stuff that's going on now, but I've never seen nobody dogpile on Jay-Z the way that y'all do on Drake right now. Or anybody, any hip hop battle. I just never seen it, because even in other hip hop battles, there's always been mutual respect, even for the person that might have lost the battle. Like, okay, with like if you want to take it to Ice Cube battling with like all of NWA, there is still respect for any member in NWA, because they're all legends. You know what I mean? Like, do y'all get what I'm trying to say? Like, in any hip hop battle, like, okay, like if even, all right, if you want to bring up like, all right, because people saying like, oh, he got Ja ruled. Okay, but let's not act like Ja Rule don't got slaps. Okay, like Ja Rule has hits. Like if you really go through the catalog, and I'm sure if anybody's like seen a Ja Rule show, and sometimes it takes a concert or a performance to really remind you, like, damn, this man really had hits. Like, yeah, he had a run where everything that was going on in Murder Inc., like they ran shit. So it was like, okay, and then like 50 came, and but like there's still a level of like, yeah, Ja Rule was that dude. Respect. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I've never seen like the level of dogpiling on a person like I've seen it happen, like what I'm seeing with Drake. And I feel bad. I feel bad just a little bit, you know? I mean, just because I don't like seeing people get treated like that. I don't. I know y'all have no problem dogpiling on me. Fucking insidious ass people. But, me being the person that I am, with a heart that's doing just fine, that I am, I don't like that. You know? And whatever, like, okay, he lost the battle. And yeah, sure, his last few moves have been like not the smoothest, not the most calculated chess moves or whatever the case may be. But I mean, Drake, you gonna be all right. Just hang in there. And just stay close to your loved ones and know that like there's people in your life who love you and your bills are paid and you don't have to worry about escaping slavery. You know, that's not supposed to be a double entendre. That's supposed to be that's not shade to him. I know some people could probably interpret it that way. Um, I mean that personally. Um, it's a Truman Show reference. But yeah, okay. So I did want to get into it with talk about the Kendrick album though. Um and just like, and just have a moment to appreciate Kendrick as an artist. And yeah. Cuz like okay, breaking the fourth wall just briefly before I like conclude this live stream. Now, me, Narisse, just watching the battles as a spectator, as a fan of hip hop, as a consumer of music, just listening and pondering, like, okay, what's in these songs, And then, like, every now and then there's like some Truman Show references, and I'm just like, oh, okay. But you know what? I just gotta take it. I just had to take it. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. But like, it doesn't change the fact that I know I'm dope. And I know I'm blessed, even though my blessings might look a little different, at the same time. Like, even though like the circumstances around my life is diabolical and crazy. But at the same time, like I know I'm a child of God and I know I'm blessed and that, regardless of what the world looks like, I know God, who is above all, loves me like he loves y'all. I hope. Because some of y'all a little crazy. But I hope God loves y'all too, you know? And I say that to say like yeah sometimes it's tough being the target or whatever, but if I can get through it, that's all I'm saying. you know much love, much love, much love, much love, 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 love. That's where I'm at with it right now. All right, anyway, so I don't mind me. I was gonna try not to like eat on here, but I made like this like cinnamon cake type of situation and it's really good. um Not only that, I've been really doing my cooking thing. Okay, y'all can say what y'all want about me, but what you can't say is that Nerisse can't cook. Okay, because baby, now I didn't have like a whole like. Okay, I'll do like a brief holiday update, and then I'll like really get into the next live stream. So I've just been like a really like homebody when it comes to like holidays these days. I've just been kind of like a loner in that way. If my life were like the Truman Show, you already know why. And for a long time, like I really would stress myself out to like be in the midst of like the holiday events and go see family and like try to show up and make sure I bring stuff and this and that. And I just kind of let that go through the years because I'm like, this don't feel genuine to me. And in a way, when I really think back to my life, I feel like I guess in a way it never has, you know? Because when I think back to like when I think of like your like I guess like typical like black experience, um God willing that you have like a healthy relationship with like the elders and stuff like that. And you think about like that grandma that like makes all the food and she be slipping you a little bit money here and there. And really like just checking in and loving on her babies. Um, in the best way. And I just think like my experience wasn't like that growing up. And even though like I don't want to get too much into it on here, but I'll just say like my experience growing up wasn't like the typical black experience, but I always to some degree resonated with it as a black woman and having black friends and knowing, you know, culture. But when I really think about it, I'm like, I didn't really grow up like that. I always felt like adjacent to my family in a way, because I grew up at least an hour away from both sides. And to some people that might not be that far. There's people who like travel like hours or fly to go see their family. But like it's different from people who like grew up at grandma's house and you know had that nurturing energy with them on a day-to-day basis. Like I didn't grow up with women in like the most pivotal moments of my childhood or whatever. So anyway, that's beside the point. So like I've essentially just gotten to a place where like I didn't really feel the need to be like, I don't know, doing the whole like the big family thing, just because it just hasn't been feeling like authentic to me. If my life were like the Truman Show, you already know. And since that, and I wasn't really like super like big on like creating like a big dinner for Thanksgiving, and I could have, but I wasn't like pressed on it. But I did kind of whip something up out of nothing, and I was really proud of myself for that. So, the week before, I had made mac and cheese and yams because I had reconnected with a friend of mine who I knew really liked that. There was this restaurant in my area that would make like bomb mac and cheese and yams, and we would always go there and get food, and we would hang out with the people that worked there and shit like that. Like we had a lot of good times, and they had like a stage there. And I'm assuming like they would have a band perform or whatever, but we would always go there during the day. And it was like one time when I stopped by there and I like sang in the restaurant, and like it was real chill, and so like I was thinking like, all right, you know what, something that I wanted to do as a kind gesture to somebody who I was a friend with. I knew they really like mac and cheese and yams, so I was like, all right, let me try to make some, because I hadn't made it in a while. And the thing was, I had been making like seafood mac and cheese, and I haven't quite perfected it yet. Like one year, I put too much seafood in it, which is kind of crazy to say, because some people is like, how do you put too much in there? When most times the issue is that there's not enough. But I did. It was like crab meat, shrimp, and lobster tails, and it was too much seafood in a way where it wasn't enough mac and cheese. So I knew like, okay, I still had to perfect that recipe. And I think I made it again before. And I think like my cheese sauce just wasn't perfect yet. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to do too much. I'm trying to jump to the premium, and I need to like master the basics. So I was like, all right, let me just make a regular, schregular, classic mac and cheese. So I made the mac and cheese, and it was good. It was good. Now, the only thing is that I kind of forgot that I needed to leave some cheese left over for the crust on top. And I realized I mixed too much cheese in the macaroni. And I was like, damn. Okay, but I still had enough to make the crust what it was. And I didn't like quite like melt it down exactly how I wanted it to look like for aesthetics. But it was still good though. It was bomb. Like it was good. But I know like for the nuanced things that I have to do to like really perfect the recipe. So yeah, I made the mac and cheese and I made the yams, and I realized nuanced things that I need to do to make a better set of yams. But I mean, everything tasted good. It was just like little things to make the cooking process easier is what I'm like at the point of like when it comes to like trying to master the recipe, if that makes any sense. So like the taste I wasn't worried about. It was just so like, okay, when I do the process, like, okay, for example, like just getting certain types of yams, just because I know the peeling process is going to be easier if I do it like this versus that type of thing. So that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to like really mastering my cooking. So I made mac and cheese and yams, and mind you, I was really trying to make a small batch because it was just me that was pretty much going to eat it. And depending on how good it was, I was gonna maybe try to like make some for my friend. But I was like, you know what? I didn't quite perfect it, so I'm just gonna keep it to myself. And so I had been, but I had like a medium sized tray. So like in my mind, I kind of already had like Thanksgiving food like a week before Thanksgiving because I was like eating that for like a week. If my life were like the Truman Show, you already know I've been eating yams and mac and cheese. And so, and then I had collard greens too because I made cabbage too. The cabbage was okay. But I'm not gonna lie, I will say my dad's cabbage recipe is really good, and but he does it with bacon and like leftover cooking grease. Upon realizing or his process of saving the grease, I'm not too crazy about it. There could be a more better sanitation way because he would keep it in these cups, and I'm like, I like those cups, and I think that's why he would keep it in those cups. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. Anyway, but I will give him his credit. I did like his cabbage recipe. And the cabbage that I made, it was all right. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't how I wanted it to be. And then I didn't make collard greens like I thought I was going to because I had got turkey neck bones, but I didn't like. That's not really what I wanted though. I didn't want those neck bones, so I ended up not using it. So Thanksgiving rolls around, and I'm like, I was thinking about going shopping, but I'm like, I got to deal with shopping with an edge, and so I'm like, I don't feel like dealing with that. And I already know it's like a few days before Thanksgiving. There's a lot of people that's going to be there doing their thing. So I'm like, whatever. I'm not pressed on making a whole big dinner because I had technically already ate like mac and cheese and yams like for the week. And I wanted to cook it early enough to a time where it's like I could get a practice run in and then like, eat like more healthier stuff in between before I make the next situation. And so I didn't have enough to make another mac and cheese, but I did have some bow tie pasta left over. So I made like a personal mac and cheese. And I had some sauce left from the first mac and cheese. And I kept it like in a pan and I kept it in the fridge. And I was like, something tells me I should save this. And then lo and behold, like the day before Thanksgiving, I ended up making like a personal mac and cheese with that extra sauce left over and then the little bit of pasta. And it was good. It was good. So yeah, so I did that. And then Thanksgiving Day, I was like, you know what? I got this collard greens. Technically, it said the collard greens expired like a few days before. But when I opened the bag, it was still fresh. So I was like, I think we're going to make some collard greens. Like, and the thing is, I know collard greens could take a long time to make depending on how much you make. I'm like, I'm just making it for me tonight. So I'm not going to make a whole lot. And I think if I only make a little bit, it's not going to take that long to make. So I did some collard greens. I had a little bit of that mac and cheese, the personal mac and cheese left over from the night before. And then what else did I have? And then I had some frozen sweet potatoes, right? Like sweet potato cubed. And I was like, I feel like I could do something with this. Okay. I feel like I could whip up something with this. So I was like, all right, what if I defrost it and then make it into like a sweet potato casserole? And it would have been like if I had marshmallows, oh, that'd have been good. I'd have just put marshmallows on top. I was like, man, that's fine. I could just make a regular sweet potato casserole. So I'm like, all right, I just gotta defrost it, mix it down. So like, crush the cubes out and then season it really good and then put it in the oven. And then it's a casserole. So I did that. I was fighting them sweet potatoes just a little bit. Just trying to get the cubes down, but I was able to like mash it up a bit. And then I was like, okay, when I mashed it and it wasn't enough, so I got my mixer, mixed it down, and then put some butter in there, some cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg, a little vanilla, some more butter, brown sugar, white sugar, just I whipped that thing up and I did what I did. Okay, I did what I did. When I tell you that sweet potato casserole, you can't fuck with me in the kitchen, okay? Okay. I was like, all right, you know what? I knew I could make some. Now I'm not gonna act like it was simple because the sweet potatoes, it was so plain. Like it was literally just regular sweet potatoes frozen in cubes. So I knew I had to add a lot to make it really taste good. And I mean, and let's be real, Thanksgiving food and a black household, if you're talking about soul food, we're really not eating to be healthy. Okay. So that's why I had to, when I did the first batch of mac and cheese and yams, I had to space it out so I could eat like some salads and stuff like that and some fruits so I can like balance out the healthiness before I go back and do the, the thing. But I wasn't really trying to make this whole like big dinner. Like I could have did collard greens, cabbage, smoked turkey wings, ham, mac and cheese. I could have did the whole thing. I could have really did the whole John. But I was like, nah, we gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it simple. I did my own little, because part of me was like, I really didn't care to make a dinner that night anyway, because I was like, fuck it. I don't follow rules. I'm probably not even from this planet. Who knows? I probably don't even celebrate Thanksgiving where I'm from. So, but I was like, fuck it. I'll make something simple for myself. So I had the collard greens, which was really good. Um, a little bit of the mac and cheese left, the sweet potato casserole, and then I made some rice, just so it was like, some grain, some substance onto the side. And then for dessert, as if the sweet potato casserole wasn't enough. But I mean, that's kind of like a side dish to the meal type of thing. But for dessert, what I ended up doing was like an apple cake, which I think was on the docket for the Illuminati Truman Show script anyway. But what I did was, because I saw this recipe online and I didn't do it like that recipe, but I was inspired because I was like, what, I got some apples left. And I didn't really eat them because like they were like bruised a little bit. But I'm like, I feel like if I chop it up, I could just cut out the bruised part and then use the rest of the apple for the dessert. And so I had the apples, cut it up. Not seasoned it, but I did. I seasoned it. I guess that's what you would say, right? But I did some brown sugar, some white sugar, vanilla, cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg, not too much. Not too much. Not too much on me. And a little bit of maple syrup. Yeah, just a little bit of maple syrup. Different, but threw that in there. And then for the batter, what I did was some flour. And the thing is, I can't tell you the measurements because I was just kind of going. I was just like adding as I went until it looked right to me. And so I did flour, butter, sugar, white sugar, brown sugar, cinnamon, vanilla, a little bit of nutmeg, not too much, and a little bit of vanilla too, not too much vanilla. And then I used evaporated milk because initially got the evaporated milk for the mac and cheese because I don't make eggs in my mac and cheese. I know some people do, and I think I think it might help like it stick together better or something like that. But I don't know, for whatever reason I just never felt inclined to use eggs. But I've seen some people use like either evaporated milk or condensed milk. So I had evaporated milk left over, and I know it has like a sweet taste to it, not like super sweet, but a little bit. And so I used the evaporated milk in the batter. Mix that joint on up. Mix that joint up. And then I put the apples in the batter. And then I cooked it in a cast iron, right? I'm so black. I cooked that shit in the cast iron. Because like I didn't really have like a tray for like a cake. First of all, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know like what I wanted it to be. I just knew I seen a recipe similar and I was just like, I kind of want to do something like this. And at first I was kind of thinking about doing muffins because I seen this post online with this guy that was talking about the Dollar Tree lady who does like Dollar Tree Thanksgiving and how he was at the Dollar Tree and saw this lady do the recipe based on the thing. I seen that post. And then talking about like he saw something about apples standing out. I saw that. And I was thinking about using that idea actually. And I was like, well, you know what? The muffins might be a good idea. And so, but I decided not to do the muffins because I didn't know how much of the batter I could make because I think I only used one apple. So I had like a medium small cast iron. And I was like, I'm just gonna cook it on this because I had made the mac and cheese, my personal mac and cheese, on the cast iron. So not me turning into Martha Stewart. That's not how I expected this post to go, but this was supposed to be like a little Thanksgiving update. So all right, well, here we are. So I put it in the cast iron, right? I mixed the batter in, I've got the apples in there, put it in there, put it in the oven. I didn't know what temperature I was supposed to cook it at. I was like, ooh, let me put it on like 400. And upon researching, I realized when you're like baking a cake or something like that, it should be maybe like 350 to 375. I think it ranges depending on what you're doing. I could be wrong, whatever. Don't come for me. To the chefs and the cooks out there, okay? Don't come for me. I'm already dealing with enough. Relax. However, when I took it out the oven, you know what it looked like? It looked like the Sahara Desert because it was like kind of crackled around the apples or whatever. And I was like, this looks kind of crazy. This looks kind of crazy. I don't know what it's gonna be like. But man, and I didn't eat it immediately because I was just hungry to eat my like Thanksgiving meal with the collard greens and the sweet potato casserole and the mac and cheese and all that. And so I don't think I had any that night, but maybe in the middle of the night or the next day, I had some for breakfast. And man, was it good? Because let me tell you, I'm not crazy about like apples in a thing, right? Unless it's like an apple covered in caramel or yeah, I'm just like not crazy about like apple flavored things, right? And it was one time where I had made like this apple like bread situation, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. And I was a little hesitant about this because part of me was like, damn, why did I make this? Because I really don't like apple like that, like not in a thing. But man, it was so good. And it wasn't like you could taste the fact that it was like apple pieces in there. It was like cooked so well with the bread that it didn't seem like you were like, how sometimes when you have like the fruit in a thing and like you can kind of taste the fruit and it might be a little rubbery sometimes. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was not that. That thing was good. I was so proud. I was like, now I don't know what this was. This was a desert fucking Yellowstone, Arizona looking ass cake. In the Erica Badu video, the didn't you know when she's like walking in the fucking desert and shit? The ground that she was walking on is what the cake looked like. Okay. And the crazy thing about it is before I put it in the oven, I've done this before with cornbread like a few years ago, and it didn't really come out how I wanted it to. So I kind of had a feeling it wasn't going to come out like I thought it was, but I figured I'd try. So I used the maple syrup to try to do like a design on there because like I'm a girl for aesthetics. Okay. I love aesthetics. As long as it tastes good, I think that's the only thing that really matters. But if it looks good too, then I'm here for it. So I tried to do aesthetics because I make a sweet potato cheesecake pie, and if I have a little bit of the cheesecake left over, I'll do like a design on the pie and then like put the knife through it and then like, just make it like a really cute design. I tried to do that with the maple syrup on the apple cake. But I already knew as soon as I put that thing in the oven, I was like, this probably gonna cook into the cake. You probably not even gonna see this by the time it's done. And I was right. It didn't come out. So I did attempt to make a design on the cake. So at least there would be some type of aesthetic, but it wasn't. But it's okay though, because it tasted way better than I thought it was gonna be. I was like, I don't even know why I made this shit. I don't even like apples like that. This probably not even gonna taste right. But I knew the batter was really good when I made it. So after everything was like cooked and baked and everything, and like to heat it up and eat it for breakfast the next day, oh my gosh, it was so good. It was so good. I was really proud. But anyway, I'm on a cooking tangent right now because like I'm so proud of myself and like how I've evolved as a cook through the years. And like and I'm at a point where like I think I'm okay with really not looking at recipes, or especially with more so with dessert, but I think with certain meals, if I know what ingredients, like if I could look at like maybe 3 different people how they make their recipe, and if they do it different ways, I know like, okay, I like that. I'm not gonna do it like that, but I'm gonna do it like this. Okay, I see that. Like for example, like when I made my mac and cheese, I saw somebody do a recipe where they did it in a cast iron. I saw somebody do it in a pan. I saw somebody, they made their sauce first and then poured it in the mac and cheese. And then some people just they mixed all the ingredients with the noodles. Like people do different processes, right? And this one girl, she cooked her noodles in chicken stock. And I was like, ooh, I like that. Because she was like, so it's flavor in there rather than just cooking it. Because most people just cook their pasta in water and put a little salt in there. She was like, nah, I'm going to cook it in chicken stock. And I'm like, ooh, I like that. So I did that both times. And it was good. And I know there's people who do different things with the cheese inside the mac and cheese. Like some people cube it. I know some people do the shredded thing, but as long as you get the block mac and cheese, because you can't just get the shredded shit because apparently it doesn't melt down right or whatever. Like you have to get the block and shred it down because that's just the best way to make a mac and cheese. And the shredded mac and cheese, the mac and cheese that's pre-shredded has like a film on it that keeps it from sticking together. But the thing is, you need it to stick together when you're trying to make the mac and cheese. So, this is such a random tangent, y'all. They say niche down when it comes to this content. And I'm like, look, I'm just going to tell y'all what I feel like telling y'all. But this was the last point before I get into the next live stream. But, yeah, so, okay, back to Thanksgiving, right? So I made all this food, right? Made this food. I was listening to holiday music. I was having a good old time. I was enjoying myself. Um, and for me, if my life were like the Truman Show, you already know, um, it's kind of like a personal tradition of mine of to like watch like Rocky, or to just like watch a movie for Thanksgiving, like because it doesn't necessarily have to be Rocky. Because I remember one Thanksgiving, I didn't cook. This was before I was really cooking like that, but I think that the Bruised movie came out with Halle Berry, and I had watched that for Thanksgiving. I don't know what it is about like boxing movies, but it's mainly Rocky for me though. Because like Rocky is like this is one of my favorite like franchises when it comes to movies. And it really started with Creed. Because when Creed first came out, like the first one, um it made me like do a deep dive into the previous Rocky movies because I had heard about Rocky. I know it's the classic thing, da-na-na, da-na-na, like the music and the Rocky steps at like the art museum in Philadelphia. I grew up like going in and out of Philly all the time. I went to college out there. I have my mom's side of the family's there, so like there was always this connection to Philly, and yeah, I just always admired Rocky, like that movie. And so, and really what's was funny is the first Creed movie, when it came out in theaters, I was so excited about this movie, right? We're gonna have a Creed moment, okay? I mean, mainly because it ties into Thanksgiving. We're gonna have a Creed moment. I was so excited about this movie, right? Because the trailer had came out and I just thought it was a dope concept to revamp that franchise. And to like how the storyline was that Adonis was the son of Apollo and that he goes to Rocky to be trained for him. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so dope. Because you know what? Even though I wasn't really a fan of the Rocky um franchise yet, I remember watching Rocky Balboa, the sixth movie, on HBO a lot because it would come on HBO a lot. So me and my brother, we would watch that movie a lot. And I always enjoyed that movie. That was my introduction to the Rocky series. Was Rocky after he was already old and Adrian had already passed at that point. So I never got the whole like him Adrian love story thing because that was my introduction to the movie. And I think that came out like 2006. And the crazy thing about that movie is like very much like Rocky's storyline in the movie, how people like, oh, you old, you need to hang it up while you still trying to fight, nigga, you old, like that whole narrative. People were kind of saying that to, I think, Sylvester Stallone in real life when he was thinking about revamping the Rocky movie. But that movie is really good. Like the sixth Rocky movie is really now. We could debate about like the fourth and the fifth one, but the sixth one was a good movie. It was done really well. Like it was filmed well. The storyline was good, and even like the relationship between him and his son, like good movie. Okay, anyway, so that was like my so I was a little bit familiar with the Rocky series going into Creed, but Creed made me really want to go back and watch all the movies. So prior to Creed coming out, I made sure to like do the whole deep dive and watch Rocky 1 all the way to 100, and so that way when I was in the movie, if there was any references to the old movies, I could peep it. It's crazy how like even all these years later I'm still finding new things. But and so that movie came out on Thanksgiving. And I remember that particular year, I think it was either 2015 or 2016. I think it was 2015. And mm, actually 2015. Actually it had to be 2016 because I was in a relationship at that point, I think. Yeah, either way, it was around that time. And it came out Thanksgiving, and um my brother and I, we went to Thanksgiving to my grandmother's house in Philly that year, and my brother took me to go to the movies, and we saw that movie in Philly, and it was dope. It was dope to see Creed. Like I think it was opening night. It was kind of like that like midnight showing, but it wasn't quite midnight. It was like, sometimes they say like, oh, it's the midnight showing, and then there might be a movie like coming on at like 11 or something like that. So it wasn't like, it was like opening night, but not quite. And we seen the movie in Philly, in the heart of Philly. I forget where that theater was, but I think it was close to like South Broad, like North Philly ish. So like, and Philly folks, Black people, like going to a movie and we be commentating in the theaters, like it was just such a dope experience. It was a dope experience, even at a surface level, of not understanding all the hieroglyphics that was in there. But yeah, I remember that time. I remember enjoying the movie, and just the whole like energy and feel of like being in Philly, and just the culture of it, and then the movie being based in Philly too. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like I've always had like a love for Philly. Maybe I was like engineered to be that way. But I really enjoyed that film then, right? And so through the years, my point in saying that is through the years I've always had like this personal tradition of like, Thanksgiving, I'll like watch the Rocky movies or something like that. Or yeah. And I know at one point HBO Max had like all the Rocky movies, so I like binged watched the whole thing. And so it's cool now to be in a space where it's like I know I can make myself a Thanksgiving dinner if I wanted to, and I could just like watch a Rocky movie, and that's all I need. That's all. I don't need a lot for holidays, and I could really have a good time. And then like play a little holiday music, just simple shit, you know. And I'm really grateful that I can find a way to like really just try to enjoy um my own company and enjoy the holidays despite all the things that goes on in my life, and and still find ways to have like joy and happiness, um because I know that there's some people out there that probably had like a shitty holiday and maybe were alone and maybe didn't want to be, or maybe they had like a loss in their family, whereas like say somebody who normally would facilitate the holidays and maybe they weren't there to put it together, so it wasn't quite like how it used to be. Like I know there's people who go through that, and maybe have a hard time finding ways to enjoy what's seemingly supposed to be like a family friends gathering get together type of a thing, like the Hallmark movie kind of vibe, and it just not be that. um I know there's people who struggle with that, and I hope that, and I have too. Like, there was some years where I did feel sad about not really enjoying the holidays how I wanted to, and where like I would be invited, and I'm just like, I know you're inviting me because it's the right thing to do, and but really y'all just gonna want me to be there so y'all could eat me up, and it's like, bitch, I'm not the meal, like, bitch, you can choke trying to eat off of me, but like, like, I'm good type of thing, you know? And I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful that I figured out my own like thing where like regardless, like I can find a way to have like a good time. Full circle moment, but making it back to the point of this live stream. I'm grateful that I found a way to have a good time. Even if it's just me and Angie. Angie's asleep right now, but Angie was with me. And we cuddled and watched a movie, and I ate my meal that I put together and whipped up with like no ingredients, but I made a way out of no way. And it was a good time. And it was a good time. And I ended up watching Creed for Thanksgiving. But if my life were like the Truman Show, you already know. And yeah, and I like, okay. Now here's the thing. First watch, I'm like, I hadn't watched that movie in a while. And of course, like I hadn't watched it thinking like, okay, I gotta like decipher these Illuminati ebonics going on in the background type of a thing, right? Like we can act like we don't know what it is, but like I'm sorry, I have to break the fourth wall from time to time, okay? Um and at first watch, like I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And I enjoyed what was there. And then okay, and then I watched it again. And then I know, like, Amazon was trying to give me a hard time trying to load it up and then put the ads in particular places and all these things. And like, I'm like, all right, okay, I see what y'all doing. Now, I could put myself out there and be like, oh my God, I feel the representation in this movie. And then maybe it might not be that. And I could look like I'm playing myself. But at the same time, I do feel like there was clear things that was just like, okay, even if it might not necessarily be like representation for me, but definitely against the system. And that I appreciate more than anything. And but at the same time, like I do feel like there was some I don't know representation for me there. But either way, like I've always said, I don't think I say it enough, not recently, but I've always said that Ryan Coogler was one of my favorite directors, and he still is. And Creed was one of those movies that made him one of my favorites. Aside from like Fruitvale Station, I remember seeing that movie. I don't need to see it again because like it's just too much for my heart. But rest in peace. I believe his name is Oscar Grant in real life. And but it's the spark of that magic between Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan when they collaborate and work together. And anytime they come together, it's beautiful. Like from Fruitvale Station to Creed to Black Panther. Like, I mean, it's Black excellence at its greatest. And then also like Michael B. Jordan being from New York. Like I've always felt like there was like like a kindred, like, like, okay, brick city, type of thing. Even though I didn't grow up in Newark, so like I can't like rep like, oh, this my hood, this my block. Like I know Chancellor Avenue, and that's about it. It's like, nah. But yeah, like, it's like it's cool to see it from a different perspective now. And yeah, like he's always been one of my favorite directors. Always. Like, and I feel like, and just like his trajectory, I love to see it as a creative. And it's interesting because like I was just thinking earlier today about like this whole like hidden languages in the arts that we're seeing being like presented and revealed these days, right? And in the beginning it would be very confusing to me because it's like I'm like sometimes I don't know what I'm looking at. Like okay, I see it's there. Like watching Insecure again. I was like, okay, okay, I see now, but I'm not see now. but but I think now I'm getting to a point where I can see, or at least better interpret, like there's a difference between like making the reference and doing something with the reference. You know what I mean? Like, okay, like for example, you can like say, I'm trying to think like of a good example to use. Like, okay, like, all right, fashion. Let's just say, like, okay, say like there's a certain designer, like say Alexander McQueen, right? Okay, let's talk. Let's say that you can use your art and then have like an Alexander McQueen piece in there, or you could use your art, have an Alexander McQueen piece, and then use the dialogue in a way where you tell his story. And then you, and then also in doing that, you can tell his story in a way where you're uplifting the legacy of Alexander McQueen, or you can tell the story in a way where you're like attacking Alexander McQueen, you know? Or and then again, or there are just some people who just have an Alexander McQueen piece in the work, and it doesn't say or do anything. It's just there, you know? And I feel like that's I'm kind of like in a space where like I'm kind of like organizing or decompartmentalizing what the stance that these references be making, you know, because like, all right, people could have it in there. It's like, all right, but we'll be talking about, you know, like there's some projects where it's like, okay, I see it, I see what you're doing here, but are you doing anything? You know, and you know, there's some people who again, like either you can uplift or not or whatever, or just make, you know, and I think there's some people who just like, all right, look, we just gonna throw this in here just so we can put it in a project and hopefully get our sales up or whatever, like make the reference. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, and then that's a whole thing in itself. And for the people who do make the references with a message, with it, it's like, okay, what's the message? Like, what are you trying to say? And I guess another full circle moment, bringing it back to Kendrick. The one thing about Kendrick is that I can appreciate him as an artist because he's really good at making the reference with a message. Um, but sometimes the message can be confusing. Sometimes it's like, all right, Kendrick, what you saying though? Like, you know, because I feel like he really actually be speaking hieroglyphics, like for real. Like the Egyptians are like, look, Kendrick, Sir Kendrick, this is the message that we want you to put in the project. And he's like, all right, bet, let me save humanity. But in saving humanity, I'm like, bitch, humanity is catching is humanity catching strays? Like what's happening? I don't know. But I'm a bop along though, because the song is popping. Like, yeah, I don't know. Um, but at the same time, it's like, oh, he ate them up right here. But yeah, I don't know. There's just so much. There's just so much to like decipher with everything that's been going on. And again, like I said too, like about like the whole like squabble up video, like, and of course, like because of like the level of detail, that I was gonna save this point, but I'm just gonna say it. I think what makes Kendrick so fucking dope, regardless of how you feel about him, is that he has a brilliant way of including culture with a message, even if the message could be a little shady, but still uplifting culture at the same time. Like, I think that's such a skill You know, like, okay, like for example, like, okay, if you're jabbing somebody over here, but you're jabbing somebody, like, all right, prime example, specifically, Not Like Us video. The scene where, in the very beginning, where he's in the room, that reminds me of a particular rehearsal. But when he's in the room with like with the people, like with the clown makeup and the, and like the, like the old school 2000s, like airbrush design shirts and outfits and stuff like that, to some people in LA that's familiar. I forget his name, but the clown guy who does the dancing, right? To some people that can be seen as culture, right? And it's like you're giving this person a platform. You got these dancers on here, and it's also like culture of like early 2000s with the airbrush fashion going on. Like but at the same time, it could be used as a slight if you're like trying to call a like group or organization or a person a clown. You know what I mean? And he has a really dope way at doing that without it being offensive to the person that's being hired to play that role. You know what I mean? Like, all right, you got the clown guy doing the dance and the this, and but it is not just there to like be a clown. It's culture. It's still culture. It's still art. It's still a level of empowerment in the midst of it. But the symbolic representation could be interpreted as a potential slight. And he's really good at that. He is really good at that shit. He is really good at having the people in on his set, in his visuals, represent culture, while in not just culture though. It's like culture, you're relaying a message, is something being said here, you're empowering something, but you're also like attacking the system in a way. And then also like it could be a slight, it could be shade type shit, for real. And I'm like, yo, this nigga Kendrick, this nigga Kendrick. I'm like, how can you be mad at that? Like, and I can appreciate how he does that without like it appearing offensive to the people playing that role. You know what I mean? Like, okay, now I was gonna do this, and I'm still gonna do this. I'm thinking about it. I don't know, but specifically in the Squabble Up video, right? Like, okay, the scene in Squabble Up, like one of the second to last like footage where there's like the gold rose gold car and the kid with the control system, but the wire there, and the three beautiful voluptuous ladies going in on that choreography, and then the guy getting bit by the dog. Like there was a lot going on there, right? Like if you specifically look in on the footage of the guy being bitten by the dog, he's hired for that job, right? He was booked and paid to be on set to reenact a dog biting on his arm, right? There's some representation why that's there. That's there for a reason, okay? That's there for a reason. However, but I'm sure that guy was excited to be a part of a Kendrick video though. And that representation or the symbolism or like the Easter egg or the hidden message might be one thing, but I know that guy might have probably went home and was like, yo, I just got booked to be in the Kendrick video. Yeah, they had this dog eating me or whatever, but because that he probably gets paid to do that. He probably gets paid to train the dog. I'm assuming that's how that that came together. But I'm sure he was excited to be a part of Kendrick video, getting chewed up by the dog. But there's a deeper meaning to that. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? I hope y'all get what I'm trying to say here. And I'm sure there's other symbolisms and hidden messages and stuff or whatever that's going on that could be interpreted a lot of ways. And even though if you look at it at particular angles and moments, it could be like some shady representations. But the people that were hired there is just like, oh, I'm getting paid to dance in this Kendrick video, and I'm looking fabulous, and I got this outfit on, but this outfit isn't just an outfit. There's representation here, there's symbolism here. Like, this outfit is a connection to me and my culture, me and my people. Like, he does a really amazing job at weaving all of those elements in a moment. Like, just a person standing there dancing with a particular outfit on. Like, it's culture, it's symbolism, it's excitement, it's empowering. And then there's like, there's like there's levels to it. And I truly respect the artistry at the least, or not even at the least, but like, I just feel like the level of artistry and the thought and the intention that's put into the work is like, man, so good, so good. And like, you can't like hate too much on it. You just gotta like, you gotta respect it for what it is. Like, it's fucking genius, man. It is. And that's what, like, and the thing with Kendrick is like even with that whole like Super Bowl thing, even with the whole Super Bowl thing, okay, I'm gonna make this point. All right, I said I was gonna end this live stream, but I mean, we here with it, right? The thing with Kendrick, specifically about the Super Bowl, it's so crazy for a lot of different reasons, right? One, because you got this tension between Kendrick and Lil Wayne, who Kendrick looked up to and studied Lil Wayne. So it's like that moment in your career where your idols become your rivals. It's an interesting place to be. That's one aspect. On top of the fact that Lil Wayne is the person who ushered in Drake, who Kendrick annihilated earlier this year, right? So there's that connection. But the thing is, where people are arguing the whole thing between Kendrick and Lil Wayne, the real beef is with Jay-Z. Sorry, Jay-Z. No smoke, but I'm just saying. And not even just Jay-Z, but whoever else is in the boardroom that makes the decision of who gets to perform. That's who the real beef is with. You know what I mean? Like, y'all can't be mad at Kendrick. He wasn't in the room saying, you better pick me over Lil Wayne. No, they made the decision and told him, look, this is the opportunity for you. And I feel like as a people, we get too caught up in who to be mad at. Y'all keep looking at the pawns on the board, not even the pawn. Like, all right, if you don't want to be degraded down to a pawn. I made this statement earlier. I don't know if the Truman Show showed y'all or not, but all right, even if it's a pawn against a bishop or a knight against a queen or whatever. It don't matter. Or a king and a queen on the board. Y'all keep looking at the pieces of the board, but y'all not looking at the hand that moves the pieces. Because the hand that moves the pieces has to come up with the strategy of the opening, the middle game, and the end game. Y'all act like the pieces just move on its own. And then then out of nowhere, then players come to strategize years or months in advance in the middle game. No. You mean to tell, like, people are too strategic. And y'all know people are too strategic and well thought out and well planned out to just show up in the middle game because, this situation happened. So now we got to come up with this 30-year plan because this event happened, and now we got to find a way to capitalize off of this. Honey, you got to open your fucking eyes and make it make sense and realize, yeah, certain situations are well to thought, planned out, from names to birthdays to this to that. I'm deviating here, but I'm gonna bring it back on point. Okay, from names to birthdays to this to that. It's too strategic for people to just come up with a strategy in the middle game. There's an opening. And if you don't know what I'm talking about chess here. Opening meaning there's a strategy of how you start the game to get to the middle game, to get to the end game. I mean, there's some people who play chess and don't know shit about that. And you just, you don't need to know the rules. You don't know how to castle. You don't know you can en passant. Like, yeah, there's all those. And there's people who know that too. There's people who are skilled at those things. But I'm just saying, there's skilled grandmaster chess players that are very meticulous and well thought out and well planned, is all I'm saying. Now, bringing it back to the main point, Jay-Z happens to play chess. Don't believe me? Watch the Mood Forever video and realize that as Jay-Z's playing chess in that video, when they got the white butlers holding the boards and he walking around in a different room playing the game, and then there's the human chessboard outside in the field that are making the same movements based on the pieces that he was playing on the miniature chessboard. As above, so below, as within, so without. Law of correspondence, universal law. Look it up. In the Kabbalion. That's a whole other thing for another time. But to bring it back to Kendrick, because this is really where my tangent started. And not to put too much heat on Jay-Z, but I'm just saying. Y'all are looking at Kendrick versus Lil Wayne versus Kendrick, but y'all not looking at who makes the decision of why that comes to be. And let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Again, when it comes to artistry, you can't fuck with Kendrick. And that's no shade, no slight to Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne is a legend in his own right. He's one of the illest lyricist rappers ever. Okay? Like, his skill, his talent is undisputable. You can't, like, okay, like, he is a rap legend in his own right. But if we're talking about right now, the current stance of hip hop and just the year that Kendrick has had, from not only the battle, not only Not Like Us, but even if you take away the battle and you look at the last project, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and you look at that performance that he had in Paris, this man isn't just a lyricist. He's not just a rapper. That's why we can talk about the music videos. We can talk about all the Easter eggs and the symbolism and the hidden messages and all of that stuff, because he's an artist. And we could talk about performances. When he performed at the Super Bowl, even though it was literally 2 seconds, but the choreography, the fit, the outfit, the whole... Now, I know I look crazy trying to imitate what they was doing, but you get what I'm saying. Like, the man isn't just like somebody that's just standing up there rapping. Like, just as much thought and detail that's put into the art of making the music, and the music is great, of writing the rhymes, having all the weird sounds that we keep imitating on TikTok. Hey, hey, who told him to do that shit in the studio? And he did that shit. And we love it. Mustard. Turn his TV off. Turn his TV off. Turn his TV off. Turn his TV off. Man, you got shit twisted. What is it, the braids? You won't with me no more? Okay. Like, come on. Okay, that's just lyrics. Turn his TV off. Turn his TV off. And he's got bops, right? So we got bops on this most recent album. But if we talk about the lyricism, the quality of music, the visuals, the thought and strategy that's put into the visuals, and then live performance, like, and the thing is, it's not like the man is up there doing choreography, but it's choreographed. It's not like he up there giving us an 8 count, but the man, he got counts in his steps. Okay. Like, he's just not up there just walking around on stage, just doing whatever. Like, it's thought, it's intention, it's rehearsals, it's dress rehearsals, it's we're building a set. I need this screen in the background when I perform this song. I need you to design this piece like this, because when I do this step on this song like this and we do this transition right here, it need to look like this. You can't tell me that man don't got a binder when he put these performances together. If he don't do it with a binder, I don't know how. I don't know how. Maybe it's a Pinterest board. I don't know. But I'm just saying. The thing that I love and respect about Beyonce as a performer, and just the level of detail and the intention of just not, I mean, and she's somebody who does an 8 count. Okay, she do the 8 count. And the mic is on. But so is Kendrick, okay? He might not do an 8 count. Maybe a 4 count. I don't know. But he doing something up there, is what I'm saying. It's the level of artistry and the intention that's put into it. It's not like he's just doing anything up there. And that's why people can't fuck with him. Like, feel how you want to feel about him. But like, yeah, at first when he was like, fuck the big 3, it's just big me. I was like, no, Kendrick, don't say that. Because we're not going to act like Drake and Cole, not them niggas. First of all, shout out to Cole. We love Cole. But Kendrick is really doing his thing right now. And the thing is, like, it's in so many pockets. It's so many pockets. It's not like one pocket is more like creative than the other. It's the music. It's the production. It's how he uses his voice. It's the lyricism. It's the visual aspect. It's the fashion. It's the performances. Like, and not only that, but the fact that he was able to make it mainstream and still be such a culturally rich creative that reps so hard for Compton. And yeah, he got a song with Taylor Swift. He got that. He on that song. He got a song with the Swifties. But it never took away from him being Kendrick from Compton. It's very prevalent in his work. And the fact that he's able to do it in a mainstream way and on such a public platform, I mean, it's a rarity. You don't really see nothing like that. And Kendrick, you got your flowers from me. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how he feel about me or my situation. I mean, he might not fuck with my ops, but I don't know how he feel about me. I don't know. Sorry. I just wanted to eat my little cinnamon cake because that thing is fire. But I'm just saying, like, when it comes to talent and artistry, like, it's hard. I know a lot of people's gripe, people who are truly like fans of art and creatives, their issue with the industry is that like there's not a lot of people with talent that's getting the push. I mean, and there are people like like it's not like you could be in the industry with absolutely no talent. Well, but, I mean, okay, like there are definitely talented artists and creatives out there, but like let's be real. I know there's many of us that know somebody from around the way that could probably outsing a lot of these girls on the radio. And that's no shade to the girls on the radio. Do your thing, live your dreams. I love that you got that platform for yourself. Enjoy it while you got it. But like we know a girl from around the way, we know a guy from around the way, we know a group, we know people that's talented that could be in those spaces that maybe don't have the same promotion, maybe don't have the same like connections to be mainstream, or maybe their art is too artsy, you know, maybe their art is too like, you know, cerebral, or they're too like it's not pop enough, it's not dumbed down enough. But the fact that Kendrick could be at the level that he's at while also pushing art that is intriguing, it makes you think, it challenges the system, it it makes a stance, it makes you want to do a two-step to dodge blue. They already got the line dance. The song came out like 2 days ago. You know, like I mean, like feel how you want to feel about it, but the artistry is undeniable, and I respect it immensely. And I'm excited to see what he does at the Super Bowl. You know, shout out to Neo Mac Entertainment. um, but like you gotta respect it. You gotta respect the art. Like he's amazing at what he does, and you know, and I mean that's all I can say. That's all I can say. Like okay, even yeah, all right. I'm gonna do. I was gonna do another live stream, really going in on like the album and like just really breaking it down. I don't know. I'm a pray on it. I'm gonna think about it. But you know, I just wanted to take a moment to really just like discuss like artistry, and you know, and hopefully like you know this live stream is about a good time. I might have to retitle this. There's a few things we discussed here, but yeah, that's my perspective. That's my thought. That's my opinion. Um, yeah, just like he's an overall like artist, and I'm just like really excited that he has the platform that he does. Um, yeah. Anyway, um, well, it should go, Nerys, and I'm gonna take a little break. So I made another like cinnamon cake situation, which is what I'm eating now. But I didn't do the apples this time because I was like, you know what, I'm not crazy about the apples, and honestly, I felt lazy because like the process of like cutting up the pieces of the apples, I just really didn't feel like it, and I was hungry, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna make it without the apples, and it's still pretty good, still really good. I actually think I like the apples better. I mean, I could do either or. Either or is fine. Um, but yeah, you know, just side note. Anyway, um, Normally, I end with a prayer. So yeah, I'll say a prayer from the heart. So my last few prayers, like it goes into tangents. So I'm gonna try to keep this like concise and well. Um, God bless us all. May you transmute all the low vibrational stresses, worries, concerns, and fears in our lives into something that ignites courage, creativity, freedom, love, happiness, and success. May we learn to take the things that are thrown our way to hold us back and make it work in our favor. May we easily find success and happiness and joy in our journeys. Um, May you help us heal through our pains, through our traumas, through our mistakes, through our issues, and allow us to grow and evolve as people and be the best version of ourselves. While also balancing balancing the truth of our emotions even when we're not our most positive selves. May we feel safe to express ourselves in healthy ways for the good of all and harm to none, and be honest and not fear being honest, but not letting the truth of our low vibrational feelings bring us down. May we see it, recognize it, feel it, and hold space for it, but may we work through those emotions and let it transmute into something beautiful and positive that can help other people, that can help ourselves, that can heal ourselves, that can create prosperity for ourselves, that can create love, that can create energetic and creative, expressive freedom. So it is, so it will be. Much love and gratitude for what has already been. Amen. I mean, Ashe. Y'all, thank you so much for being a part of this live stream. I hope you were entertained. For those who don't know who I am, unless you follow me, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Um, and check out my music. I have music on SoundCloud. I'm working on like trying to like release some things. I'm working on some stuff. Um, yeah, but make sure you check out my SoundCloud. I have a cover of Sweet Life there. I thanks to the spark of creativity reminded me that I did a mashup cover of SZA's Snooze and Willow Smith and Tyler Cole's Meet Me at Our Spot. I recreated it into Snooze at Our Spot. And I really enjoy it. Like I listened back to it. I forgot about it, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. And mind you, it's an idea that I had like a year ago. Like I wanted this to be out like last year or something like that. And here we are. Oh, like I need to get in a space where like my creative output doesn't take so fucking long. But not that I want to rush it, but like I know like it could have been came out. Like, but I just got boggled up with all this extra like witches, warlocks bullshit. And I just really want to get to a space where I can just like create and just like put out good work and art for you guys to enjoy. And yeah, that's ultimately what I want to do. So yeah, I'm gonna work on that. But I was listening to it and I was like, damn, this is really good. Like I'm really proud of this. And yeah, Snooze at Our Spot. Soon come. It will be out soon. Um and yeah, my Divine EP is like in limbo right now. So like if you're like reading the Truman Show script, there's some revisions that I am working on right now, and hopefully I can be off script or whatever. But yeah, so I'm working on that, revising and hopefully re-releasing that. because next year is going to be the 5th anniversary to that project, which is kind of crazy to even think about. And it's like, damn, like I should have already put out more new music, but like, not that I'm rushing. Like, I feel like even when I hold off on certain things, I'm kind of glad that I didn't release it when I thought I was ready to, just because like certain things were revealed to me and certain ways that I sang a song. I'm like, okay, you know, I should probably like switch up the lyric here, because now it feels like, for example, like otherwise, like the original lyric is like stuck within this prison sentence. And I'm like, I know the power of the tongue is real. And I know the power of my tongue can be real. That's what she said. That's not what she said. Because, bitch, I have not had any type of a romantic life in like 5 years. But anyway, we crack jokes from time to time, like, you know. But anyway, um, but legitimately, like, I know like the power to manifest with your words are powerful, and I know that's true in my life, and I'm just discovering this. So like I've been wanting to put out that song for years. Like, I wrote otherwise in 2019. It's 2024. It's literally 5 years later. And and I recently got to a point where I'm like, breaking out this prison sentence you place me in. I feel like that's the better approach to that lyric. Um, and it took me 5 years to get to that. And plus, I need to re-record it anyway because my mic is crazy sounding. And yes, I know I have to upgrade the mic. You know, I know that that's the bigger picture. But that costs money that I'm waiting to see manifest to me. So, you know, yeah. And I don't want to just get any mic. It has to be like a good one that I can afford. So that's a whole nother thing. And that's kind of like why I have been like a little bit stagnant on like creating new music or finishing my beats. Like, I know I could work on production, but like I want to live stream that process. But I know my Wi-Fi isn't really that strong. So it's like the process of live streaming me making beats with the software on the computer isn't going to be as clear as it used to be on the old Wi-Fi. So I'm like, I'm trying to be patient with this process. But lately I have been practicing. I've been doing vocal practice, guitar practice. So I'm like getting back into being creative in that way, at least to like, you know, keep my skills up. And when you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready type of thing. But I am really looking forward to getting back into making new music. But again, like, I'm just kind of like over creating in this space. And I'm just like in this limbo of like, okay, well, bitch, if I can't move here, where am I going to move? And like, am I going to be safe? And you know, like, who can I trust and that type of thing. Like, you know, I don't know. It's a lot to think about. But I really just want to be in a space where I can create and just like give back to the community. Like, that's all I want to do. Like, all I want to do is just like make art and like be of service. And it's so annoying dealing with all this extra bullshit with like people who like try to like hold me back and like attack and all this dumbass shit for no fucking reason. And really, like, if y'all just got the fuck out the way, like I could just be of service and really keep putting good into the world, because that's ultimately always what I've been about and what I've always wanted to do. All the extra shit that like people try to like hold against me, y'all not looking at the hands that move the pieces on the board, that plans the opening strategy, not just jumping in the middle game. Like, nah, y'all put the pieces on the board, y'all plant the moves all the way up to middle game, to a point where motherfuckers could like predict shit all, like what's happening now 10 years ago. Like, what are we talking about? But whatever. Anyway, in the midst of that, I just want to create and make music. And again, like, most of the songs that I'm working on are like all inspirational songs, because those were like, that's the space that I've been in. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that my music, you know, doesn't sound like hookah music. No shade to the hookah music, because I like that shit too. I like that shit. I'm not going, no shade. But I'm just saying, like, and sometimes I get a little self-conscious about that because I'm like, I really like some of the R&B girls that are out right now, like like the Scissors, and like the people that I've listened to are like SZA, Tinashe, um, whoever else is making music. Like, because when I think about their music, like I know like they're talking about like relationships and stuff like that, and just like just being free in their sexuality. And I just haven't been in that space in a long time. And like in the last 5 years or so, like I've just been really in this space of like really trying to push for like motivation and positivity, or just expressing my frustrations about situations. And so like when I listen to my music, I'm like, I ain't got no love songs in here. Ain't no love songs, and ain't nothing about like, ooh, my getting my back broken. Like, no, none of that is happening at all. Like, at all. It's just not. And I mean, like, and there's some songs that I've written that could like where I can like tap back into that moment of my life, because I guess that would technically be more relatable, even though that's the shit that people was shitting on me about. But whatever, like I can talk about like smoking black and miles and hanging out with my man, and doing this and that. And but it just hasn't been true to my experience as of late. Like lately, I've just been really in the space of like just like being resilient and fighting, constantly fighting, and just wanting to inspire and wanting to like just believe and have faith that things will get better, and that people will believe my truth, and that I know that there are people who support me and who believe in me and who want to see me win, and people that I can trust. Like I like for whatever reason, I like have that faith. And I know that that's real. And and to know that like there's people who've been challenging the system longer than I've even known. Like, I mean, it's helpful and reassuring in a way where it's like, okay, like I know I'm not completely like alone in this fight. And and even if things switch up where like people were just playing pandering just to make me feel a certain way, but really they actually feel like this, like I've been disappointed so many times, so I'm like, I'm not even phased by it. Like if the support is there, I receive it. If it's not, all right, keep it pushing. Like I'm a keep it pushing. It's basically where I'm at with it right now. But like I just knew logically it just didn't make sense for people to like, I don't know, just all be in cahoots to like just like hate on me. I don't know. I'm just like, cause like nobody's that one-sided with opinions about anything, you know? So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Um, but it kind of reminds me of Mariah Carey's story when she was after she had married Tommy Mottola, and I think she was like on her third album, and she had did a performance in New York, and it was like the first time she had ever interacted with fans, because like she knew like she was successful, and that like she had music out there and it was number one, and she had gotten Grammys at that point, but she didn't really knew that she had fans like that. And until like she had that performance and people knew all the words and people were lined up, and she was like, oh my gosh, what is up with all this traffic, why are all these people out here? And they're like, they out here to see you, girl. Like, and it's like, oh, okay. And like every now and then, like I from time to time, like it feels like that moment. It's like, oh wow, look at that. Okay, cool. Not to that degree, but in the midst of the shenanigans around my life, and there's people who are smart enough to see through the BS, and it's like, yeah, nah, it's giving very orchestrated, planned, set out to be like that. Because hello, but anyway, Anyway, thank y'all for the love and support. I think I did finish the prayer. Support the music. I'm gonna be back on live stream. And yeah, I'll see y'all later. Much love to y'all. And yeah, much love. Actually, I'm gonna wait a little bit because like the way that this time is looking, I'm kind of like all about the symmetrical things right here. So do, 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 do.